Hello everyone. My name is Smriti Sharma and today I am back with a new topic of Salesforce admin and that is validation rule. So let's start it. Now, what is validation rule? Validation rule is used to verify that if any user is entering any type of data, it meets the standards you specify before the user can save the record. There's a specific type of standards or rules you can say that a user needs to follow. That is what a validation rule is. A validation rule can contain a formula or expression that evaluates the data in one or more field and returns a value of true or false. So according to that expression, according to that formula, according to that whatever is specified on the field, it returns a value of true if that is correct, false if that is not correct. Validation rule also includes an error message to display to the user when the rule returns a value of true due to an invalid value. So validation rule is also helpful, or also you can identify it if the error message is appearing and a user is able to see that error message, okay, in return of if something is not correct, if something is not as per the validation rule, or if something is as per the invalid value, okay. Now, what are the types of validation rules in Salesforce? So, we have two types of validation rules in Salesforce: system validation and user defined validation. System validation is enforced by Salesforce. It is system validation because Salesforce is enforcing it by itself only. Like we are not able to change it. It has been applied to certain objects for the valid format. Okay, if anything needs a valid format, that time system validation is applied to certain fields or through certain for certain type of fields. Okay. Now, user-defined validation, that means custom validation is the validations we are building using the validation rules. So, we can build according to our need. We can build certain type of validation by using the validation rules, that is user-defined validation. Now, most commonly used functions are which are used for user-defined validation. These are not pertaining to system validation. These are only pertaining to user-defined validation. So, that are is blank, is pick val, text, and or. Okay, is blanks is returning true if the field is blank, else it will return false as per its name. If it will not allow any blank value, okay, so it will return the true if the field is blank, or else it will return false. Is pick val is used for the pick list field, any type of pick list field, okay, in the formula or anywhere. Text is converting a picklist value to text, a quick for writing formula that asks if a picklist field is blank or not blank. And is used if it is returning true if all the items are or functions are true, and or is if any of the one item are true, okay. Now let me show you on the Salesforce admin how you can create the validation rule, how you can apply the validation rule. Okay, so we are on the Salesforce admin page. So let me select any of the objects. Let's select contacts object. Okay. So contact objects, let me check some of the fields here. Okay, these are the fields here. So we will be creating two validation rules. First of all, we will be checking, for example, here it is there. See, salary is there. So we will be checking here if the salary is not negative. Okay, that means it should be greater than 0. If any user is putting the salary in negative, then it should not be able to save it. First rule is that. And second rule, we will be creating it, okay, for phone and email, okay. So it should not allow us to save the item without filling this phone and email, okay. So what we will do, let me go to the setup. Yeah, so we'll go to setup and then object manager, okay. Now object manager, you can find your object. I am choosing my object as contact. Now here you can see the validation rule. See, at the end you can see the validation rule. Now we will be creating the validation rule. Okay, so this is validation rule. We have opened it. Let me create validation rule. New validation rule. Rule name I am saying as salary should not be negative. Okay. So here you can see that this is the error condition formula where you can apply your formula as per the field. So insert field. This is here you can select your field salary, insert. Okay. And salary is less than 0. Okay. So if salary will be less than 0, then it should give the error message. So I'm just clicking on check in syntax. When you check syntax, your no errors found message you will get. If any errors are there, then you will get that error is there, and then you have to correct this formula. Okay. So I have just selected the field and then insert the field and then applied this formula. Okay. Now this is the error message. It should say that salary should not be negative. Okay. Now here you can see that in the end it is saying that where the error message should appear, at the top of the page or should appear below a specific field on the page. So here I am selecting that it should be appearing on the field. As soon as you will be clicking on the field, it will say which field. Okay, so I would like to take that on this. I have applied it on the salary field. Now here you can see that it will display your error message next to the field the user should correct. If your validation rule checks several fields, display the error message at the top of the page. If there is more than one fields, then what you can select is like on top of the page, because you cannot select more than one field from here. Okay, so you can just apply it on the top of the page. For now, I'm just checking this field. Okay, and let me click on save. Okay, so this is the validation rule which has been created. You can see that active has been checked, marked as checked. It has been checked so that it is like it is active. It has been applied. Okay. Now let me test this as well. Okay, I am refreshing it. So this is the contact object and this is the salary field. Let me select here -4. Okay, I am just selecting it, -40,000. Save. Yeah, now you can see that error message is appearing. Salary should not be negative, and you can review the following field. Okay, now if I'll put more greater than 0, like 5,000, 50,000, it should not be appearing. Now you can see that it has been saved. So if you will apply this field, if you apply the amount less than 0, then it should show the error message as per the validation rule. Now let me create another validation rule. Okay, so now the second validation rule is for making any field like it is mandatory field. This is the question which is asked in the interviews as well, that if we want any of the field to be like a mandatory field, okay, on any of the object, what should you do? At that time you should give them answer that validation rule can be created on that field, so that that field is mandatory to be filled. Okay. So I'm just clicking on new. Now I will be applying it on email and phone should not be empty. Okay. Same description also I will be giving. Now this is the field, insert field is a formula. So for formula is, it should not be blank, right? So, sorry. Is blank, I'm selecting insert selected function. On expression, we will select the field. So which field we want to apply? Email. Email and then insert. Okay. The another field is blank. Again, we have to insert. And here we will be selecting another one, which is phone. Insert. Okay. We will be applying here formula, and another thing is we should select the or. or and. Okay, so and means if we want both the fields to be if any of the field is blank, then it should show the error. Or is also the same thing, because or also if you are leaving any of the field with respect to email or phone, it is like if any of the field out of these two is blank, then it should show the message. So that means these two are mandatory fields. Okay, now let me check the syntax, sorry. Yeah, no errors are found. Error message, I will mention that email and phone are mandatory. Okay, fields. That means you need to fill these two fields. Now you can see that these are two fields, so we should not select this field, we should select the top of the page. Okay, so that at the top of the page or on the below of the page it should appear. Okay, let me save this. Okay, so this is all again it has been created for to check if the field is mandatory or not, and it has been checked. Let me test this. Okay, okay, so let me select phone only. And let me click on save. Now you can see that it is appearing email and phone are mandatory fields. So that means it needs both the fields. Okay. Now see, it has been saved because we have put both the fields. If we remove both the fields and then if we try to save the page, then again it should give the error. See, email and phones are the mandatory fields. Okay, so these are what the validation rule is helpful. So validation rule, what we have created a two validation rule on the contact object. One is which is checking that if the value is not as per what they needed it, so as per that it should not be negative, and other field is that it should not be empty. For whatever object you need this, that this field should not be like this is mandatory field, you can apply the validation rule. This is a simple answer for any of the interview questions or anywhere if anyone asks you. Okay, that's all. I think that's all for the today's session. So you can just go through it, try to make some of the validation rules on some other objects as well, so that you get a good practice and hands-on to that. If you like the video, please like it and comment it if you have any of the doubts or issues. We'll try to resolve that on the same comment, or else you can contact me as well. And please subscribe the channel and press the bell icon so that you get the information as soon as any of the video is getting uploaded. Till then, thank you so much.